Me mama kwaba eba WIDERmedia kase boso wetimi afra me tent.
Amampenyi ekasa wo Davos nhyemu ase a efa Accra reset agenda ho a fisan hyemudin so eka World Economic Forum nkitahodin no ho.
Na ho na akonya eba ma amampenyi Mahama se odin na no din sem etutwa na kra na be hwe ense wo ka kire. Amampenyi epapa abo antateam ebomodin akohu na koma ewo ne nsem kaye mu. And they say, or here say, a basse, a man say, far Africa, who pe mpuntu, and I say, Moabidia, boy Africa. Now, as I say, Africa, no so, a war, a pro, be, send a bear, obey me, actually, near in here, Africa, ye pa. Penny, Mahama, editor, just say, a back Ghana, mpuntu more. But me aka say afedi enema etutu akwan mu esan say ya sha say enema egu akwan mu a ebu ama Ghana yempuntu asha say aba na emom ne ye no dadwo ni kase pa eye Africa nkoso Africa mpuntu akoye ye mampanyi Yohani Dramani Mahama asudi kase pa mo yenko ni nkuti emira na ordinary no din sam etudwa.
Africa has thrived on handouts and humanitarian assistance from the developed world. While no specific name has yet been coined for the new global system that will emerge, Africa intends to be at the table in determining what that new global order will look like. Africa must pull itself up by its own bootstraps. Global humanitarian assistance is shrinking, and many developed countries, including Europe, are compelled to cut overseas development assistance and increase defense spending by the new reality of an unpredictable ally across the Atlantic. I'm grateful, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that you made time to be a part of this afternoon's Davos convening of the Accra Reset Initiative on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. Just last September at the UN General Assembly, I introduced the Accra Reset Initiative, not as another declaration, not as a wish list, but as a practical answer to a question millions of young Africans are asking: what should Africa's response be in a changing global order? Today in Ghana, we're answering that question. We're resetting our country. We're cutting waste, we're restoring hope, and we're building systems that work. In my first year of being back in office, we've shown that democracy works, and that change is possible when leadership is focused and accountable to the people. From a debt-distressed, crisis-ridden economy, we've achieved an impressive turnaround with a stable macroeconomy characterized by single-digit inflation, a strengthened currency, and increased business confidence. But here's what keeps me up at night. Ghana's success alone is not enough. However admirable Ghana's turnaround story is, we cannot be a jewel in the dirt. We must work together as Africa. We must knit together the patchwork of success stories. And that is why we're here in Davos today, to take what's working across many countries in Africa and the global south and scale it up across other countries, to move from resetting one country to resetting the entire development model for the global south. And let me be direct about what we're up against. Too many of our countries are caught in what I call the triple dependency. We depend on others for our security choices. We depend on donors for our health and educational systems. We supply the world's critical minerals but capture almost none of its value. This isn't sovereignty, it's a trap. And it's getting worse. In my quiet moments, as I try to find solutions, here's what I've learned. Crisis creates clarity. The clarity is this: that we must build our own capacity to act. There's precedent for what I'm proposing. 20 years ago, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan and several courageous world leaders, including President Obasanjo here, made a simple, powerful case. HIV/AIDS was ravaging millions in Africa, and a global response was required. This courage created the architecture of the Global Fund, which saved millions of lives in Africa and across the world. That fight succeeded because leaders decided to act together with urgency and without excuse. Today, I'm not so sure. The US is gutting funding to the United Nations system and other global organizations that have saved millions of lives. And we face an unpredictable world. And this is why Africa must be responsible for its destiny. Today, we face a different pandemic, the pandemic of unfulfilled potential. Millions of young people have no jobs, health systems that collapse at the first crisis, economies that extract our resources but build nothing long-lasting. If we could mobilize the world to fight a disease, why can't we mobilize to fight poverty, to fight dependency, to fight the systems that keep brilliant young Africans locked out of the future? In Ghana, we're proving something important, that execution beats excuses. We're cutting government spending and have reduced the size of government to a record low of 58 ministers, including deputy ministers and regional ministers. We're digitizing services to end corruption. We're training young people for the jobs of tomorrow. We have renegotiated our debt so we can invest in our people and not just service loans. This is a resetting Ghana agenda, and it's working because we stopped talking about the transformation and we started building that transformation. Now imagine this same approach across Africa and the entire global south. The multilateral order and rules-based system may be under threat, but we can forge a new coalition of the willing based on a shared vision and mutual respect for each other.
You, I am say, wait, na only me buy again say, a man penny no or born homewarding, na or grown so. Say with me, Eda de Medi, Ewo, a man sign any. And say, Miss Sam made it down and say, I feel back poor, your man penny, your honey, Dramani Mahama, Ebedia de, in Prenusweno. Or here now one more night that was saying, or one homewarding and our momoding. Jack, what didn't try our comment section hall. My brain fee say higher WIDERmedia. Subscribe, like, and share your videos, and that's the brain.